components of my water fertilization program for the garden, both no-weed gardens, and it looks complicated, but it's really not. So here it is assembled, and it's really simple actually. You've got a hose male-to-male connector here that fits on a garden hose, and I put it between these two so that I can use the Y as an input for fertilizer and an input for the main water line from the house spigot. And then from there it comes through and it splits off to both the there'll be a 25 psi reducer on this and a 25 psi reducer on this one, and then each one of them will have one of these filters on it. One of these lines, like this one, is going to go to the no-weed garden for the shed, and the other one, that'll be the same exact setup with the filter and all, will go to the one that goes to the main garden out there. So here's the concept and how it works. This was just an example to show you what it looks like for the male to male. These two are female to female, and you need to do that because you're reversing the Y here, the hose split. And when you reverse it, obviously the hose coming from the house is going to have a male here and a male inlet, and the same coming from the fertilizer tank into here. Okay, so yeah, the hose is from the house is going to go here and just tighten on, and it'll be open wide all the time. And a water timer at the house, I think it's Orbit, it just screws into the faucet. I'll take you out and show it to you, but yeah, it'll screw into here. This will come from a tank within my shed, and it's got an anti-siphon here. That way when the water coming in from the house is going and there's no fertilizer pumping, this water cannot go past this valve here back into the shed and overfill it or cause any kind of damage to the little pump that's in the shed. I'll also show that to you. So the anti-siphon does that, and then once it stops the water, if there's any pressure, will siphon out here, and this will be outside this whole contraption here. So the concept is that water coming in, if the little pump, which I think is we'll go take a look at it, the pump that pumps fertilizer into my grow room, I have used it a long time ago in my greenhouse, and it supplied the whole greenhouse. One pump did. So I'm hoping it'll supply fertilizer to both no-weed gardens completely without any extra help. But the reason why I use the Ys like this is because if the hose pressure is coming in and it's going to split and go to these two no-weed gardens, and it's watering it through the drip tape, then what I can do while it's running is I can have the fertilizer pump turn on at the same time. And because water follows the path of least resistance, it's going to go in and up through here. It's not going to want to turn the corner and go back this way. And so the pump should be able to go here, catch this running water, and almost pull it like a siphon. At least that's my thoughts and concept of it. So we need to see it in actual practice, but yeah, the parts are really inexpensive. I already had the Ys, and I had these from last year's fertilization, and I used a dosatron, and that thing was kind of a pain in the butt to deal with, and it's expensive to replace parts on and all that, so I'm trying to simplify my fertilization of the garden. Here's the house setup. This is a house spigot, and it's in the front yard. And I've got a pressure reducer here, and I didn't have, the house pressure is right around 50, or this is preset to 50. Either way, that's what I want it. I want it at 50, so that's where it's at. And this is the, I think it's an Orbit, let me see if it says it. Yeah, Orbit water timer. And it's just essentially a really simple water timer. I used the past couple seasons here. And you set to auto when you're ready to start, but you set the time, and then you set for how when you want it to start, the start time, 7:30 in the morning, for 10 minutes. And how often is well, I've got set 6 hours. I need to change that right now, actually, because I was trying to water the plants every 6 hours so the potting mix got nice and moist. Anyway, I set it to 12. And it's really self-explanatory, real easy to do. And you set it to auto, and you should hear it click. Or maybe, oh, there it did. You might not have heard it because I was talking. Anyway, this is full on, and it stopped because of this here. This whole setup is on a timer. So if you follow the hose around, got a faux door here. And this is my shed no weed garden area. I don't think I've showed it. Still needs a little bit of cleanup, and all the pots need to go in their position and the watering system and all that. But anyway, kind of ignore that for now. I've got the main hose coming around here. It's kind of curled right now, and this was what I was using to water everything. And now I've got the hose going to, just like I said, this is just a little planter to keep the sun from creating algae. And so here, as you can see, is a 25 psi pressure reducer, and when I put it's going to go on one side of the Y outlet, and then the other one's going to go on the other side, Y outlet. And that one's going out to the garden right now. It's working perfectly. And the other one's going to go over here to this no weed garden right here. And this is the input line, or the main line that goes to all of them. It's already got its 25 on there, but I'll take it off and put it on the Y like the other one. So that's the concept. All right, forgive my shed. It's an absolute mess. I just collect things and stuff I'm going to reuse, like the styrofoam and stuff like that. I keep. So I've got two 55-gallon drums there and one up here. This is the one for the primary grow room, which is through here. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. And that's what you see on the inside. Outside, I've still got some tomatoes growing in there just for eating. And this barrel has a pump in it, and it pumps up through and over to those tomatoes you just looked at. But in here, it's got a pump on it that I have used, I'm trying to do this one hand, but I've used many years right there in the old greenhouse, and I know it's pretty powerful, but it doesn't use that much wattage. And so this pump will pump through this line, and I'm going to drill a hole into the base and go through the outside out to that Y, which it's going to be out there. And I'm going to use this pump to pump fertilizer to both no weed gardens. Now this pump is on an Alexa timing plug that I can set it. I can, in the house, I can tell Alexa to turn it off or on. It will. So this will pump whenever I tell it to, or on an app that's on my phone, I can program it to come on and turn off at any time that I want. And so I fill the nutrient into this barrel. I've got videos where I've done this many times, and I've got from it on the bottom comes out a little spigot here that I can fill these manually, and that's the next one. And it also has a float valve that comes from that main one, and it'll fill up here until it reaches a little bit higher than where it's at right now, and that'll make sure that this pump going out to all the gardens remains full. And so all I have to do is fill this one, and it'll drip into here, and I'll have a hose connecting from here to here that'll do the auto leveling. So whenever the pump runs this out, this will auto level, and it'll automatically drip from this one. I wanted to demonstrate this auto leveling. I'm using a hose. So I put some water in here, and it's the same concept as if these were the two 55-gallon drums, and the hose, which I'll use a 3/4 inch garden hose. But I wanted to demonstrate what happens when you siphon. This tube has water going all the way through it. And so when the water level changes on one, water always tries to find level. So watch what happens. So it doesn't matter if I pour water in this one, or if water is removed from either one of them, the other one's going to find the same exact level, provided the surface they're on is level. See? They're the same or very close to it right now anyway. So I could do it again. We'll do it again from the other side. And you need to keep the hose at the very bottom, obviously, because if it catches air, that'll kill the siphoning capability. So this is just concept that you don't have to have any kind of electronic or mechanical leveling. It just does it automatically. It's just a scientific principle, I guess, is what you'd call it. See, did it again. All right, I got the hose coming from the pump up. It's suspended up high just for storage with the Velcro strap, and it's going down through the hole down there to outside. What you're looking at right there is a plug that the pump is plugged into, and that is a internet controlled plug. That's controlled by Alexa for us. So it is connected to our house internet. And by that, I can control it with the app in my phone. All right, let's see if this thing is powerful enough to do the whole garden out there on its own. So I showed you a picture of the pump itself. It's 1,000 gallons per hour. And I know years ago that it did the whole greenhouse. So we'll see if it's strong enough to go way out there and power that the main garden. So I've got my phone here. I'm going to go into the Alexa app, and I'm going to go to plugs. Got a tick on my dang phone. And it's called Grow Room. So once I hit that button that says off right there, Grow Room, it's going to turn it on. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, let me turn it on here. Seems to be this backflow preventer here is causing an issue. It wasn't, I took it off and just saw what came out of it, and it was barely trickling, but with that removed, you can see the water is going through there. So I figured it out. This is a PVC check valve I had on the pump before, years and years ago. It was sitting at the bottom of some stuff I had. I'd forgotten about this check valve, and it was hard for me to find a brass one online. I'm afraid the little few that they do have on Amazon are going to do the same thing, highly restrict the flow of water, but this doesn't. It's got a hose piece here. You can get these at Lowe's or probably Home Depot or other box stores. A male and a female hose in, and just regular 3/4 inch PVC and a 3/4 inch check valve. and it seems to be working great. I've got it turned on. I've got the timer on to come on in the morning right after the house waters it. So the house will water for 10 minutes, and then this will come on for fertilizer, master blend, mixed per direction for 5 minutes. So 10 and 5. This only comes on once a day. So this was on, or it's dripping because it was just on. It was on, let's see, about 10 minutes ago, and it's still dripping a little bit from it. But let's turn it on again. Control plug, see the top one? Grow room is the one that, the plug that activates it. So if I turn it on, let's see if it, yeah, it's starting to pick up. I can hear the sound of air escaping from some of them. There it goes. Success. So now I've got to weigh, a timed weigh that I can control really easily to water and fertilize all gardens, this garden and the next one. So I'm going to turn it off because it's already been on, and that'll conclude how I water and fertilize the no-weed gardens. Sprint, you guys. We'll see you later.
How long do we gotta stay?